Hi, just a quick update on KTF Pointcloud. It's now available for BricsCAD V24 and it's still free to use for KTF software customers who are on BricsCAD. Now I'll show you a bit more of the tool. We'll start with the setup panel, which can be useful if you're working in a drafting workspace rather than a modelling or BIM workspace. The panel includes a Pointcloud reference button, which brings up BricsCAD Pointcloud Reference Manager, where you can either pre-process a new scan or insert an already pre-processed scan. You can also check the status of scans when they are pre-processing. This scan has already been pre-processed, so just select Attach. This panel also includes BricsCAD's very useful Pointcloud Align tool. This allows you to select part of your point cloud where there are walls, and it will rotate the point cloud to the UCS, or it will create a user UCS orthographically aligned to the walls. You also get the option to save the UCS. We've added a plan button for always looking down onto the XY plane, real-time rotation, and a modified UCS button, which will be shown a bit later. Onto the CropSolid's action panel, we have the Draw Solid command. This is very similar to BricsCAD's Box command, but the 3D entity snap settings are optimised for getting your 3D solid in the correct place. We've included more command line options like choosing Centre. It doesn't have to be in exactly the right place. You just draw your box, and now we can select Apply Crop, and we've created a CropSolid. The beauty of the Pointcloud CropSolid is not only do we have a very nice crop, we can modify the crop like a normal solid using BricsCAD's direct modelling actions. The Push-Pull button allows you to select a face and quickly and easily add or remove volume. The Tab key allows you to select hidden faces. When you select the Pointcloud CropSolid entity and go to the Properties panel, you'll see it's like a normal 3D solid, but there are additional properties. For instance, you can change the elevation, and you can change the extrusion height. KTF Pointcloud adds Hide and Show CropSolid. It is, of course, much nicer to trace over a point cloud with the solid part hidden. You can show it again when you need to. We've also added Crop On and Crop Off buttons. Now you can start tracing your point cloud. Let's flatten the view, this time using BricsCAD's Look From widget. You can right-click the top of the widget and you can change various settings. I'm setting this to User UCS, and now I can click Top again. A couple of favourite tools of KTF Pointcloud are the ability to nudge the crop up and down. And the ability to extrude it less and extrude it more. You also have the ability to change the nudge increment settings or actually put in a specified thickness or elevation of the top face. One of the differences with KTF Pointcloud from the Properties panel is that when you change the extrusion thickness, it keeps the top face that you are drafting over the same and extrudes downwards. You have the ability to set the crop thickness by picking points on the point cloud. The nice thing about this function is that you can also use it in the bubble viewer.
If
if you look carefully, you can see there's a green pen and a red circle. I can click a point on the ceiling and it will get the Z value of the nearest point. And now on the floor, and it will get the Z value of the nearest point on the floor. Now our crop is of the first floor. You can save snapshots of the crop's elevation and extrusion thickness. You can either save it with a name, or just use one of the presets. These CropSolid actions actually follow the Z-axis of the UCS. So if you want to work in the vertical plane, for instance to trace an elevation, you just change the UCS. I'll change the crop using push-pull, or I could have made a new one. Then use the UCS tool on the Setup panel. Specify UCS origin, bottom right corner of CropSolid face, top left corner of CropSolid face. You can save the UCS. I'll call it front. And now you'll see that if you want to nudge, it now follows the Z-axis. You can trace the elevation by putting it in plan. Hide your crop and you can just start tracing. You can put the UCS back into World, or you can select Manager, which brings up BricsCAD's UCS Manager. Let's put it back into Floor Plan and back into Plan View again. Push-pull works even with the solid hidden. The next panel is the Pointcloud display panel. We have a layer toggle. What this button does is simply toggle any layer of the point cloud on or off. We also have a layer lock toggle. It's much nicer to draft over a point cloud layer if it's locked. For instance, if we're doing things like extend or trim. There's a bubble toggle, an adaptive toggle and max porous. Max porous will make the points as small and as minimum density as possible. You can set it back to default porous again. We also have some fine tuning. For instance, you can fine tune the size of the points or the density of the points. The next panel is the Pointcloud eSnaps panel. This is to save going into BricsCAD's 3D eSnaps settings and changing them there. Instead, we have the important ones. Snap to point cloud nearest point on and off. You also have a snap to use point Z value when you draw a polyline, or to use the system variable elevation when you draw a polyline. This is drawn at the point elevation, but if we set it to the use elevation and draw another point, you'll see it's drawn at the elevation system variable, which is 0. On the final panel, we have some drafting tools. We have the Add Spot Height tool. This will return the Z value of the nearest point. It's got some command line options as well. For instance, you can override the text size by default. It just uses whatever the current style or text height system variable is. You can add a prefix or suffix. Let's add a prefix, finished floor level. Then choose a text colour. There's also a vertical measurement tool for inside the bubble viewer. It works similar to the spot height tool. It has command line options so you can set a prefix, for instance door height, and it's also got a bubble mode option. You can pick a point, top of door frame for instance, and the floor, and then just pick a place on your drawing for the text. So that's the KTF PointCloud tool. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoy using it, and we really hope it makes your PointCloud drafting life a whole lot easier.